Most people think they climb mountains to reach the summit. And in a practical sense, that's true. You choose a route, you commit to the climb, you move upward. And eventually, if everything goes well, you arrive. But after years of climbing, I've come to suspect that something else is happening. Something far more important. The mountain is changing the climber. Not all at once, not dramatically, gradually, hold by hold, step by step, day after day. And perhaps the same is true of life itself. Because most meaningful pursuits begin with a goal, a destination, a vision of where you want to go. But if you stay long enough, something strange happens. The destination becomes less important than the person you are becoming along the way. When people begin climbing, they often focus on outcomes, the route, the grade, the achievement, the summit. And there is nothing wrong with that. Goals matter. They provide direction. They give effort somewhere to go. But goals are only part of the story, because the route is doing something to you while you're pursuing it, teaching you, testing you, revealing you. The climb exposes things, weakness, assumptions, limitations, habits, excuses. And once those things are exposed, you are given a choice. Ignore them or confront them. That choice determines far more than the outcome of any single climb. It determines who you become. This is something that modern culture often misunderstands. People assume that time creates growth, that experience automatically produces wisdom, that simply getting older means becoming better. But none of those things are guaranteed. A person can spend years repeating the same patterns, years avoiding difficult truths, years refusing to engage with reality. Time alone changes very little. What changes people is conscious engagement, the willingness to learn, the willingness to adapt, the willingness to become uncomfortable. Growth is not automatic. It is participatory. The climb changes the climber, but only if the climber allows the climb to do its work. One of the reasons I love climbing is that it strips away illusion. The wall doesn't care about confidence. The route doesn't care about self-image. The rock doesn't care what you tell yourself. Eventually, reality enters the conversation, and reality is remarkably honest. A difficult route has a way of revealing exactly where you are. Not where you wish to be, not where you pretend to be, where you actually are. That honesty can be uncomfortable, but it is also incredibly useful, because transformation begins with truth. Not inspiration, not motivation. Truth. You cannot improve what you refuse to see. You cannot strengthen what you refuse to acknowledge. And you cannot become more than you are if you spend your life protecting yourself from reality. Many people want transformation. Few people want the process that creates it, because the process is rarely glamorous. Most of it looks like repetition, consistency, practice, failure, adjustment, then more repetition. The climb changes the climber because it demands participation, again and again, long after excitement fades, long after novelty fades, long after nobody is paying attention. And this applies to far more than climbing. It applies to fatherhood, relationships, work, health, character, Every meaningful pursuit eventually asks the same thing. Will you continue becoming when the process stops being exciting? Because that is where transformation occurs, not in moments of inspiration, in seasons of repetition. I think this is why meaningful struggle matters so much. Not because suffering is inherently valuable. It isn't. But because meaningful struggle shapes us. It forces us to confront reality. It demands adaptation. It teaches responsibility. It reveals capability. Most importantly, it develops self-respect. Not the kind of self-respect that comes from praise, the kind that comes from evidence. The quiet confidence that emerges when you've repeatedly done difficult things. When you've kept promises to yourself. When you've continued despite uncertainty. When you've remained committed long enough to witness change. That form of self-respect cannot be purchased. It cannot be borrowed. It must be earned. And the climb is one of the many places where it can be earned. Over time, something remarkable begins to happen. The person who started the journey slowly disappears. Not completely, but enough. The fearful person becomes more courageous. The impatient person becomes more disciplined. The uncertain person becomes more capable. Not because they wished it into existence, because they participated in the process. And that may be one of the most hopeful truths available to us. You do not need to become somebody else. You do not need to reinvent yourself. You do not need to create an entirely new identity. Perhaps the task is simpler. Perhaps the task is to become more fully yourself. To uncover capabilities that already exist. To develop qualities that are waiting beneath fear, distraction, and doubt. The climb does not create those things from nothing. It reveals them. That is why the summit is never the whole story. The route matters, the achievement matters, the outcome matters. But they are not the deepest reward. The deepest reward is who you become along the way. The patience, the resilience, the capability, the self-respect, the character. Because long after the summit is forgotten, those things remain. And perhaps that is the true purpose of the climb, not simply to reach the mountain, but to become the kind of person capable of climbing it. If this video resonated with you, you can support the work by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care out there in the daring unknown.